Hi everybody, and welcome to this annual look at the way I'm changing my diary layout, my diary page layout for 2019. For those of us who are functional planners, you might find it useful just to give you any ideas for yourselves for how to lay out your diary pages or for certain uses or whatever. So if you remember, last year I was using a Staples Arc A5 disc-bound system. I've changed during the year to this Filofax Heritage A5. Two reasons. It's very slightly slimmer than the Staples. It's slightly larger. It's very slightly, half a centimetre on either side. Larger in layout, but it's the reason is that although I use disk systems myself a lot in my notebooks, I found that the tines of the pages, when you use them a lot, gets a little bit tired and they don't hold on as well to the disks as a whole does in a punched system. So instead of having a disc bound for next year, I've got this Filofax Heritage. It's working okay at the moment. Probably, like most people, I'll end up using yet another folder for the next year, but that's the way we are. So, having seen that, just a reminder, before I talk about the layout I have for next year, just to look at this. This is a really common layout. This is a Filofax layout, which I see in 2 pages per a week diary layout, and I don't know why this is so popular, so I just wanted to mention it because there are 2 things that I dislike about this particular layout, and the reason I don't use this layout where the day is a long vertical stripe rather than going across the page. The first thing is that it treats the weekend days as inferior, so it just assumes that people don't have things to do at weekends. And secondly, the times are shown, and the times go from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. Now, we live in a 24-hour, 365 day per year society, and basically I work at weekends, and I work sometimes before 8 o'clock, and I work sometimes after 8 o'clock in the evening. So something like this wouldn't work for me, and I think it wouldn't work for a lot of people. In fact, my Zirkuluak planning circles, which I use, people complain because they only cover 21 hours. So having something that only covers 12 hours, I don't really get. But I see so many of these layouts. Just wants to mention this is the reason I don't use a layout like this. I use a horizontal layout. So, having said that, this is just a reminder. These are all photocopies, so I'm sorry about the quality. This is what I've been using this year. So I have a week, 2 pages, but all the week is actually on 1 page on one side. So what do? I have a circle, this little circle here, which I fill in during the day so I can see which day I'm on. I have the day and the date to the right hand side. This is obviously where I write my events, and the major events that come from the mail merge file I use to create the inserts I've printed in light blue. Then my system, my Zirkuluak system, which is to show the time I'm using or the time which has been planned in, I actually flattened and put into a horizontal stripe like this on the left hand side of the page, which doesn't have a date. So this page layout is the same for every single back page for the diary page on the right. And I have this little sort of empty column here between the name of the day and the Zirkuluak thing here, where I can actually show multi-day events. So if I look, I have a look. Bear with me. So I just mocked up some pages just to show you how that looked. So this is sort of how a week might look. So you can see I fill in, I always use these arrows anyway to show which day I'm on, but you can see I fill in the circles to show which day I'm on. I write down all the information I need for dates and times there. Then these are the multi-day events. So what needs to change with this, I found. So this is 2018. When I was planning my 2019 system, I found there are some things I wanted to change. This line had been here previously because I had my Zirkuluak planning drawing or graph here. Now I realized, of course, that this is now redundant space, so I could remove this line. And also the positioning of the day and the dates, obviously with this arrow here I was often covering the text there, so that wasn't ideal, so I wanted to move that as well. The colouring, this light blue of major events, I found it was too easy for me to overlook this event. It just, I don't know, something in my mind just made me overlook those, so I wanted to make those more obvious. The placing of this line, which shows me what time is filled and what is still available, because it's not exactly parallel, exactly in line with the dates, because it's uppermost, I found it also didn't in my mind I wasn't really associating this with this whole day, just because there was a slight offset, so I wanted to change that too. Because I had a problem with Outlook as well during the year, I decided to put tasks which have a specific date and a specific time to be done into my diary, into my file effects, and that meant that I had to find a space for tasks. Up to now I've just been drawing them on with my own box and then filling in the box when they complete, but I wanted to put a space for the tasks in the new layout. And finally I've been writing my better half's shifts just here on the left hand side, so I wanted to put in a box there just so that I could put that information in a specific place. So that's the 2018 layout. And this is the layout I've chosen for 2019. Again, they're photocopies. I'm sorry about the quality, and this bit here has been chopped off, but you can imagine here that this is the front of these words, and also the front of that box is, that's a complete box there. So what's happened? I've moved the date and time to the left, and I have placed the events which come from the mail merge file in a bold black type, so it's less easy for me to overlook them. I still have this circuit here to show me which days have gone, so otherwise that side is basically unchanged. This side has changed more. I now have the more traditional Zirkuluak, which shows me when things have happened, which is more in line. It's easier to associate this graph with this day because they're exactly in line with each other. I have put boxes here so I can add to-dos, tasks, which I didn't have before. I have these boxes are specifically to store my other half's shifts, shift times, and that does mean I have slightly less space here for multi-day tasks, but because I don't have so many of those, that shouldn't cause too much of a problem. So again, this is a mocked up version of what a day a week might look like. Again, still got this arrow, but it no longer covers up the date with the arrow. I have a little bit more space because I've removed this line here. I have more space to write on. As you can see, I don't put any times printed on. I just put the time in front of the event, so that this gives me more flexibility. I don't have to be limited by the times down a column like you would be with a system like this. This limits. I find this too limiting. Also, by the way, with this one, which I forgot to mention, I find this such a small space to write anything in. So if you just write dentist, that's fine, but if you have to write something like collect Jason at the corner near to the supermarket, you've already filled the whole morning. Unless you write very small or write in code, I don't think you have the space here. My one gives much more space and much more flexibility. So that's that side. This side you can see I have the to-dos. When they're done I cross them through. I have my traditional circular graphic to show you when, or show me when I've got an appointment and how much I'm occupied each day. These are multi-day events, and then just information about my better half's shifts. So that's it. Very short overview of next year's diary layout. I'm sure it will change for 2020. If you have any questions, just or feedback or whatever, just drop them into the comments below. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.